السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته everyone. Inshallah, now we are in the first lecture of the day. It will be a short reminder until Maghrib inshallah in regards to Day of Judgment. And it's a beautiful topic presented by our Shaykh Ariff, Olla, Hafidhullah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who listen to the speech and act upon it. تفضل شيخ.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. The topic is the Day of Judgment, and I don't think we can do this topic its due justice in 45 minutes. But I would like to say that the attitude of the believer and the way of the Salaf and how the Salaf were affected by this particular topic is, as Ibn Mas'ud said, is that when you recite the Quran, you need to make it personal to yourself. Allah is talking to you. If you're talking about Jannah and Jahannam, put yourself in that position as if He's talking to you. So you'll find that some of the Salaf, when they recited these ayats, they used to cry extensively, to the extent that the wife of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz said that he used to cry all night on one ayah. Sometimes he used to cry so much he used to pass out. And there's also a narration of one of the Salaf. He had an ayah talking about the Day of Judgment and he fell dead due to the extreme fear that he had for this topic. So the only way that we can really get a true feel of this topic is if you place yourself in front of the fire, or in front of Jahannam, in front of Allah, in His court. You have to take away what you see of this dunya, because this is connected to your unseen, the akhirah. We see, maybe some people have seen it in graphics, they've seen where the waves become big and everything gets wiped out and there's an apocalypse and there's an Armageddon. But these graphics cannot replace the actual feeling of you being there. Imagine the whole world is going to end and you are there in the midst of it. This is what Allah says in the Quran, and some of the ulama of tafsir have said, when Allah says وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ, He's calling you to understand, because it is something that is from the ghaib, the unseen, but you can quantify it, you can understand it. So when Allah says إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ, this is so amazing, we cannot understand how amazing this night is. But وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ, Laylatul Qadr you can quantify it. خَيْرٌ مِنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. So that's what Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا يَوْمُ الدِّينِ. What do you know about the Day of Judgment? It's been called the Yawm al-Din, the Yawm of recompense. This is the day when you will have your deeds traded in. But the journey actually begins from this dunya here, not the unseen. It's a personal level of unseen. So Allah says in Surah Naziyat, فَإِذَا جَاءَتِ الطَّامَةُ الْكُبْرَى, when the major sign or when the major appearance of the Day of Judgment occurs. The ulama of tafsir said if there's a Tamatul Kubra, then there must be a Tamatul Sugra. That there's a minor form of Day of Judgment, and that happens to every single one of us. Now, what happens when you go through that stage is life as you know it ceases. But nobody's going through it except you. Nobody's going through it except you. Nobody can help you at this stage now. You're going to see things happen to you and experience things happen to you. Nobody can help you. So Allah says in Surah Al-Qiyamah, Man Raq, who can do ruqya upon this person? What's he going through? Someone do ruqya, but nobody will be able to do ruqya upon this person. But there's two types of people that Surah Naziyat talks about. Ibn Taymiyyah gives the tafsir of Surah Naziyat before Tamatul Kubra. He said, when Naziyat Nazar, Allah talks about how the angels come down. And they will come down to two types of people. One person, they are wretched and they will snatch their souls away from their bodies. But there's another type of people where Allah describes in Surah Fussilat, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبَّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا, those who are saying that they are Muslims and they are steadfast upon their religion. تَتَنَزَّلَ عَلَيْهِمْ مَلَائِكَةٌ, the angels come down upon them. And Ibn al-Qayyim says, Kitab al-Ruh, that he has witnessed himself, a person is lying ill. We don't know if he's going to die or not, but all of a sudden, he starts becoming happy. And he says, Marhaban, marhaban, ta'ala, sit down here. Assalamu alaikum, sit down. We don't know who he's talking to. We don't know what he's looking at. This is the day, the minor day of judgment that is going to occur to any one of us at any given time. You could be 10 years old, you could be 100 years old. And this is when the unseen becomes seen. This is when the angels come down and they take your soul. And if you're a good soul, like we said, the angels will come and they'll say salam alaikum to you, and they'll take you and they'll call you by the best name that you like to be called in the dunya. And they take you up to the Jannah, and throughout this journey, while you're going up to the Jannah, other angels come. Is this the soul? Is this who they called Fulan ibn Fulan? Is this the person that we've been waiting for? And they will gather around this soul and praising him all the way until he reaches the Jannah. If he's a good soul, which he will be in this stage, his name will be written in Illiyin. Once his name is written in Illiyin, this is a long hadith in Muslim Ahmad, he comes back down to his grave. And now he's going to be asked 3 questions, which is the basis of Usul al-Thalatha of Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad ibn Nuh. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? And what do you say about this Prophet alayhi salam? But there's something that ajib happens to the believer before this. When he is lying in his grave, he will be woken by the angels. And his immediate reaction to be woken up, he will be rubbing his eyes and he will be asking to pray the salah. He will be asking to pray the salah. This is a hadith in Ibn Majah and others that the scholars have said is Hasan at least. He will stay up and his first concern is the salah. And they've explained it by saying that when you are sleeping in this dunya and you wake up in the morning, your first concern is Salatul Fajr. This is your routine. And this is what you will simulate in your grave. For those people who are steadfast upon the Salah. After that, he will be informed that this is not time for Salah. Here we are here to ask you some very serious questions. If you answer these questions correctly, the rest is easy. As Allah says in Surah Fussilat that we just quoted, تَنَزَّلَ عَلَيْهِمْ الْمَلَائِكَةُ أَلَّا تَخَافُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا. Be going forward, don't fear. You are seeing all these things that are happening to you right now with these angels, but we're here to help you. Don't be scared. And don't have huzn. وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا. Don't be sad that you're leaving your family behind, that you're leaving your house behind, you're leaving your possessions behind, because you're going to go to something which is far greater. This is the small day of judgment that's going to occur to everyone at any given time. But the major day of judgment will occur when the smoke will appear from Yemen. And the ulama said that this is one of the major signs of the day of judgment. And what will happen is everyone will be driven by this smoke towards Sham. And this is a sign in itself, because people will be pushed by this smoke. You can't go that way, the smoke is too thick. So you have to go this way, and it's pushing them towards Sham. And they can't walk 24/7, so when they rest, the smoke rests. The smoke stops. And then the next morning, when they get ready to leave, the smoke will start pushing them again. The smoke pushes them. Then the sun will rise from the west, and then there will be no tawbah, there will be no believer from that moment on the day of judgment, on the earth. And now the day of judgment is beginning to commence. And the Prophet ﷺ described the angel that's been entrusted with the horn that will commence the day of judgment, and his name is Israfil. And ever since Israfil has been created, for the thousands and thousands of years, if somebody asks you what have you done in 1 year, maybe you can summarize that in how many? 30 seconds, 1 minute? If someone tells you to summarize your life, 30 years old, 60-year-old man, I came from this background and then we went this, you could do it in a few moments. This angel has been created more than 50,000 years, maybe thousands and thousands of years, only Allah knows best. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Kayfa an'am, how can I enjoy the life in this dunya when this angel, ever since he has been created, he hasn't blinked. Not one single blink. Why? Because he is waiting for the command. This is his job. When he gets the command from the Arsh, from Allah, وَنُفِخَ فِي السُّورِ فَصَعِقَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا مَنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ. Everything will be destroyed. Now I want you to pay attention and try and picture this in your head. And one of the biggest signs and acts of worship that a Muslim can do is ponder on the ayat of Allah. What will happen at this point when he blows the horn? The sun, Allah says, the sun and the moon will eclipse, they will come together. And then they will be combined and rolled into each other. The shamsu kuwirat. The sun will be rolled up. Imagine the sun that you see outside will be rolled up and it will be combined with the moon. Jumi'a ash-shamsu wal-qamar in Surah Al-Qiyamah. And then what happens to these two entities? They will be pelted into the seas that we see, into our oceans. They will come as meteors and asteroids to this earth. What happens when there is no sun? The whole color of the sky changes. So then the next stage you will see, فَإِذَا انشَقَّتِ السَّمَاءُ فَكَانَتْ وَرْدَةٌ كَالدِّهَانِ. It will become like a reddy, pinky color that you've never seen before. There is no sun. There is no moon. They've been rolled up and they've been destroyed. Imagine this in front of your eyes, my brothers and sisters. And they will be pelted into the sea. What will happen to the stars? The stars will lose their color and they will also fall into the sea. They'll lose their light. So imagine a sky that you can see right now. There's no sun, there's no moon, there's no stars. The whole universe of Allah is changing in front of your eyes. This is Yawm al-Qiyamah. So these things are being pelted into the sea. What's going to happen to the sea levels? They will rise. Sea levels will rise and the earth, 70% water, will be completely being washed out. And some of the scholars say that some of these, the sea itself will turn into fire because of the severity of what is going on in the universe of Allah. So this is the meaning of Allah saying, Biharu Fujirat and Biharu Sujirat. Some of the scholars say Fujirat, it means that they will transgress in the sea levels. And Ali radiallahu anhu said Sujirat, that they will become fire. 70% of this world in its water will become ablaze. The mountains will fade away. Allah says, Tamurru marra sahab. They will go as if they were clouds, completely disappeared. The biggest mountain in the world that you can see, Everest, all these mountains, the hills that you can't break, they will go away as if they are clouds. So what happens when there is an earth without mountains? إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا. The whole earth will start shaking. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. It will start breaking. And everything will be coming out. What's underneath the earth? Molten. What's underneath? Everything from underneath will be coming out. The graves will be coming out. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا. What is happening to the universe? I've never seen a day like this before. I never expected anything like this ever to happen. The earth as we know it has never seen this before. Everything will cease, my brothers and sisters. Everything will cease. Including me, including you. If this is the seas, if this is the sun, if this is the moon, and even the angels will be taken. With this blowing, the first blowing, كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ. Everything will cease. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Allah will be left by Himself. And this is, as the ulama have said, this is Yawm al-Wa'id. This is the day that you've been promised. This is the day that we have Iman in. If you don't have Iman in this day, then you're not Muslim. So what will happen after this stage, when everything ceases to exist? Allah will be there by Himself. And He will roll the heavens and the earth in His palm. And the Prophet ﷺ described the comparison between the heavens, 7 heavens, and all the earth, and all the universe that we can ever imagine, that we have seen and not seen, will be like a size of a mustard seed in the palm of Allah. And He will say, Ana al-Malik, Ana al-Jabbar. He will shake it. He will say, where are the people who are proud? Where are the people that did shirk with me? Where are the people that contested with me? Where are you on this day? Everything will be subdued. Nothing will be able to speak. Everything has ceased to exist. There is no life anymore. كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ. So this is why Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا قَدَرَ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِ. You have not given Allah His due estimation. He is much more powerful than you think He is. He is much more capable of destroying you and completely destroying everything that you expect to live on, the earth that you expect to walk on every day, imagine if that wasn't there. The sky that you expect to seal you and protect you, imagine if that wasn't there. Imagine if the sky wasn't there and Allah says, Abwaba, that they will become like doors opening. That's what's going to happen to the universe. There is no gap between you and space anymore. And there is nothing below you to protect you from space. This is what's going to happen. وَمَا قَدْرُ اللَّهُ قَدْرُ وَالْأَرْضُ جَمِيعًا. Allah is going to take the whole of this creation. يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَالسَّمَاوَاتُ مَطْوِيَّاتٌ بِيَمِينِهِ. And He will fold them into one another to show you His power, to show you His is the dominion. Subhanahu wa ta'ala ma yushrikuna. We have the audacity to have shirk with Him in our ibadah, in our love, in our hope, in our fear, in our submissiveness, in our tawakkul. He is the Rabb who controls everything, and we'll see it on that day. And then it will be blown again. And this is what Allah refers to, al-haqqa. This is the inevitable, when you are going to be resurrected, al-qariya. This is the screaming that you will hear. ثُمَّ نُفِخَ فِيهِ أُخْرَى فَإِذَا هُمْ قِيَامٌ يَنْظُرُونَ. Then it will be blown again, and you will be forced to stand. You have no option on this day. And before this happens, the earth which remains of it, Allah will cause it for it to rain. And the rain will bring back these bodies from the ground as if they were plants coming up. And the earth will open so that people can stand up from it. And Allah describes this second blowing as نُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَإِذَا هُمْ مِنَ الْأَجْدَاثِ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ يَنْسِلُونَ. They will come out from the ground and they will go straight to the place where they are supposed to stand on Yawm al-Qiyamah. No questions asked. They won't come out and say, what's happened? What's happened now? Where's my friend? Where's my father? Where's my brother? Where's my sister? Where's my phone? They're not going to say anything like that. They're going to come up and they're going to go straight to the appointed place where they are supposed to stand for 50,000 years. They've been resurrected after this day of immense shaking. And Allah's going to make them stand up again and they're going to go straight to that place. قَالُوا يَا وَيْلَنَا. They will say to each other, they will say to themselves, what has happened? Ya waylana, man ba'athana min marqadina. Who has brought us into existence again while we were being tormented or have bliss or had tormented in the grave? The angels will say, هَذَا مَا وَعَدَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَصَدَقَ الْمُرْسَلُونَ. This is what Allah warned you against, and the angels spoke and the Prophet spoke the truth. This is what Allah gave you in His message. And the prophets that you mocked and they belied and you didn't want to follow their guidance, this is the truth that you're seeing in your face today. إِن كَانَتْ إِلَّا سَيْحَةٌ وَاحِدَةٌ فَإِذَا هُمْ جَمِيعًا لَدَيْنَا مُحْضَرُونَ. One blow of the horn and all of creation is standing in front of Allah. One blow of the horn and all of... So when the Imam says stow, and the Kafir one time was seeing this and he said, near the Haram, there's maybe 100,000 people. So the Muslim asked the Kafir, how long will it take for the people to stand in their sufuf? In straight lines, no gaps. And he said it's going to take about 4 or 5 hours minimum. The Imam comes and he says, stow, i'tadilu. And everyone within the space of a few seconds stood in line. This made the man become Muslim. This made the man become Muslim. So what about the standing in front of Allah on the Day of Judgment? When one blow of the horn, everybody is there standing in front of Allah in their appointed place. And then they will realize that this is Yawm al-Ma'loom. This is the day that Allah talked about. It's Ma'loom. This is well known. This is going to happen. This is the Yawm al-Mashhood. This is the day that the angels and the whole of creation will witness. So they will come out and Allah describes them in Surah Qari, مَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِئُ يَوْمَ يَكُونُ النَّاسُ كَالْفَرَاشِ. They will come out like they're insects. When you see moths coming out, if you've ever seen a herd of moths, they come out in droves. So they will come out in plenty of number, and they will go straight to their assigned place. And when they get to that place, there will be a great deal of terror and confusion, to the extent that you will look at a person and the way he's standing and the pain that he's going through, you think that he's drunk, but he's not drunk. And you will see a young boy out of the immense fear and stress that he's going through, his hair will turn white. on the spot. And there's a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ will say that a woman will go to her son and she will see her son and she will say, look, you were in my stomach for 9 months. For 2 years I looked after you. All of this I've done for you, for your whole life. Even when you were older, I looked after you and I helped you and I protected you. Just give me something from your good deeds. And he will turn around to his mum and he will say, please leave me alone, I need the deeds for myself today. This is the state of that day. You will be by yourself. You will not have anyone to protect you or to help you. And the Prophet ﷺ said that on this day the sun will be above your heads. And according to your level of sin, it will be closer. Imagine the sun that you see, if it becomes 30 degrees Celsius, people can't hack it. This is going to be the actual sun, which is billions of miles away right now, will be a mile above your head. But there will be other people, well, Allah make us of them, will be underneath the arsh of Allah, having joy and bliss. And the ulama have said that if a person is going through this torment of the sun being above his head, and he's seeing other people laughing and joking and rejoicing and being in shade, it increases in the torment that he is in. Some people will come on the Day of Judgment and they will have chains around their necks and they will be forced just to look up. They cannot move their heads. On that day, they will not be able to move their eye or their head or their body in any other way. Allah talks about this. إِنَّا جَعَلْنَا فِي أَعْنَاقِهِمْ أَغْلَالًا. They will be having chains on their necks. فَهِيَ إِلَى الْأَذْقَانِ فَهُمْ مُقْمَهُونَ. And chins are pushed up and they have no way to move their head. Some people come on that day standing on their faces. They will be standing on their faces. And some people will come smaller than an ant, the size of a human being, smaller than an ant. But whatever the case, all of them, the whole of mankind, وَتَرَى كُلَّ أُمَّةٍ جَاثِيَةٍ, will be on their knees, subdued to Allah. They will not be talking, there will not be a single whisper in front of Allah. And Allah describes this, وَخَشَيَتِ الْأَصْوَاتِ لِلرَّحْمَنِ فَلَا تَسْمَعُ إِلَّا هَمْسًا. You will not even hear a whisper. Everybody will be in a sense of extreme fear as to what's going to happen. So this is everybody. They're now on the mahshar, the place where they're being gathered, and they're in their appointed place. The sun is either above them or not above them. And then the caller will call out, and he will say, listen, Ya Bani Adam, from the closest of you to the furthest of you, I am al-Malik, I am al-Dayyan. None of you will go to Jannah, and none of you will be punished except until I've reviewed every single one of your situation. And every single one of you will have your haqq given to them. Then the believers will be taken to the Hawd of the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ described this pool of water as being sweeter than honey, whiter than milk, and more perfume, smelling nicer than musk. Its distance is from Yemen to Sham, from one way, and its width is from Jeddah to Bahrain, as what we know today. This is the size of the pool that you will drink from. May Allah make us of them. If you follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And on that day, the Prophet ﷺ will be calling people, and the angels will stop them from coming. And the Prophet ﷺ will call them, and he'll continue to plead for them. And the angels will say, no, you don't know what they did after you. You don't know the sins that they've done after you. You don't know the innovations that they've created after you. And surrounding this pool will be enough cups like the stars you see in the sky. And the Prophet ﷺ will go around speaking to every one of us to make sure that we have had some water to drink. This is on a day when the sun is right below us. A day which is 50,000 years long. A day of great torment and a great amount of fear in what is going to happen. Because nobody knows what's going to happen. Even the Anbiya, the people will go to the Anbiya and they say, Adam, you are our father, you're the one that Allah has created with his own hands. Allah has spoken to you directly. You lived in Jannah. Help us to get to Jannah. Tell Allah to start the intercession. He will say, no, it's not for me. Then they'll go to Noah, then they'll go to Ibrahim, then they'll go to Musa, then they'll go to Isa, until Muhammad alayhi salam will be given the station for him to supplicate to Allah. And he will go underneath the arsh of Ar-Rahman, and he will be given new adhkar that he's never been given before. And he will go into sujood, and he will make sajda to Allah. Then Allah will tell him to lift his head and make intercession. He will make intercession. The angels will make intercession. The believers will make intercession. And some people will not benefit from this intercession. And then a caller will call out, and he will say, Allah is coming. This is the Yawm al-Ghashiyah. Wujuhun yawma idin khashiyah. Your faces will be down. Some people will be driven by angels. جاءت كل نفس معها سائق وشهيد. An angel will come with each and every one of these people, and he will be a witness for that person also. And the questioning of these people who have not benefited from this intercession and have not gone to Jannah yet, they will have Allah coming to them. And Allah will come with 8 angels carrying the Arsh of Rahman. Normally there are 4. Normally there are 4 angels. On this day there are 8. And some of the ulama have explained because of the great deal of rage that Allah will have on that day, even though His mercy is greater than His anger. And the Prophet ﷺ described that the distance between the shoulder and the ear of one of these angels is 700 years of travel. The distance from his shoulder to his ear is 700 years of travel. So imagine the rest of his body. This is the magnitude of that day. You're going to have 8 of these angels carrying the Arsh of Rahman. So Allah says in Surah Bakr, هَلْ يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَّا أَنْ يَأْتِيَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظُلَلٍ مِّنَ الْغَمَامِ. Are they waiting? Are they postponing their good deeds to wait for Allah to come with the angels? وَقُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ وَإِلَى اللَّهِ تُرْجَعُ الْأُمُورُ. Are they waiting for this day that Allah is going to come with these angels carrying His Arsh, and that's when they want to decide to do good deeds? Everything will be subdued, my brothers and sisters. And Allah says, وَعَنَتِ الْوُجُوهُ لِلْحَيِّ الْقَيُّومِ, that your faces will be subdued to Allah. And Allah says about Himself on this day, فَتَعَالَ اللَّهُ الْمَلِكُ الْحَقِّ. He is the Malik al-Haq. He is the one who has complete dominion, and that dominion will be shown on that day. Glory be to Him. This is Yawm al-Qiyamah. And those people who want people to stand for them and give them honor and pride in the dunya, on this day there will only be one qiyam, and that qiyam will be for Allah. And this is why it's called Yawm al-Qiyamah. None will stand except for Allah. And it's also been called Yawm al-Tanad. It's the day of calling. Allah calls it Yawm al-Tanad. And the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith that every one of us will be called one by one. Fulan ibn Fulan, is your turn, come here. Fulan ibn Fulan, is your turn. What did you do on this day? Do you deny anything in this list? Did the angels make a mistake? Is there something that we've missed out? Allah says in the Quran, إِن كُلُّ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِلَّا آتِ الرَّحْمَنِ عَبْدًا. Every single one of us will come as a slave to his master. You have no choice in this. You have no glimpse of hope, or you have no glimpse of smiling or joy on that day. It's extreme terror and pressure. And Allah continues, it said, لَقَدْ أَحْصَاهُمْ وَعَدَّهُمْ عَدًّا. We are the ones that are going to count how many people will be there on that day. We are the ones who have got the record for every single one of them. There's not one person that's going to be missed out. There's not one deed for each person that's going to be missed out. وَكُلُّهُمْ آتِيهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَرْدًا. You will come on the day of judgment by yourself. You will have no one else. You won't have your brother, you won't have anything. You won't have Google to help you, what's the answer? You won't have your friend to help you, can you protect me? You won't have your car to protect you, can I run away from this? The very earth that you're walking on and that you're relying on for you to depend and to walk on will no longer exist except for what Allah decrees. So some of the kuffar, they will see the status of the animals before they are called. And the animals will be left to become turab. They will become dust, and they will have a glimmer of hope given to them. If this has happened to the animals, maybe this will happen to us. Ya laytani kuntu turaba. Maybe this will happen to us as also. But then Allah says that they themselves will be told that no, waqifuhum innahum mas'ulun. No, this is not going to happen to them. Stop them. Everyone at their station, every single one of them has to go through the sequence of interrogation. And again, the scholars have said that when they see things like this, when they see a glimmer of hope, when they realize that the hope is not there, then it adds in their punishment for them. Standing in front of Allah, people will be of different categories. So like we said, if you haven't been forgiven and entered Jannah and had your deeds overlooked already, you have to stand in front of Allah. And the kafir will be asked, did you think that you wasn't going to meet me? Did you think that you were created without any purpose, that you won't be questioned? So what he will do is he will stop pleading. What he will do is he will stop pleading. He said, no, Ya Rabbul Alameen, I'm not going to deny any of this, but please give me one more chance. Please let me go back. I promise I'll be better this time. This shows you the level of the immaturity and the shallowness that we talked about before with those people who are living for the dunya. In the dunya, they are pleased with chasing that rotten carrot. And on the day of judgment, they come with the same mentality. If you capture your son and he's done something wrong, what does he do? Straight away, look, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. But he's not sincere in this. And it shows you their level of immaturity, because they are, in this very own statement, they are not realizing the power of Allah and their own mistake. The munafiq will come on the day of judgment, and it will be said it will be asked to him, what did you believe in? And he'll say, I believed in Allah and His Messenger. So Allah will cause his mouth to be sealed. He said, you believe in Allah's Messenger? He said, yes. Allah will cause his mouth to be sealed. And Allah will make his body and his limbs and his skin testify to whether he's truthful or not. Another person will come, a sinful person from the people of Tawheed. And he will come and he will try and shift the blame. So he will say, قَالَ قَرِينُ رَبَّنَا مَا أَطْغَيْتَ. I didn't do this. It was the Qareen, the shaitan that was telling me to do this. Allah says, لَا تَخْتَصِمُوا لَدَيْ. Don't. This is not the place for you to try and argue your way out of it. Another person will come on the Day of Judgment and he will have scrolls of sin. And Allah will say, is there any mistake here? Is there anything that we've left out? He said, La ya Rabbul Alameen. I admit every single thing. So then the Prophet ﷺ explains that Allah will say, but there's something greater that you've missed out. And Allah will bring a scroll of La ilaha illallah and you'll place it on the other side. And that will outweigh the sins that he has committed. On that day, people will be given their books on the right hand and some people on the left hand. Those people who have the books on the right hand, they will be rejoicing. They'll say, look, read my book. The people in Surah Haqqa who get their book on the left hand, they will say, woe to me. I didn't know this was going to happen. وَلَمْ أَدْرِ مَا حِسَابِيَ يَا لَيْتَنِي كَانَتِ الْقَاضِيَ. Where's my power gone? Where's my ability to act? مَا أَغْنَى عَنِّي مَالِيَ. My wealth hasn't helped me at all. Then these people will have, after they've been reckoned, they will be put against the scales. Their deeds will be put against the scales. Either they will tip on the right side or the left side. And then they will be gathered again according to their destination. The people of Jannah will be gathered together, and the people of Jahannam will be gathered together. And they will be gathered at the Sirat. And the Prophet ﷺ will be the first person who will cross this bridge. This bridge is sharper than a sword and thinner than a hair. And the Prophet ﷺ will be the first person to cross it, and he will be continuously saying, Allahumma sallim, sallim. Oh Allah, protect us. Oh Allah, protect us. Some of them will fall in, some of them will walk across, some of them will have their light and the light of the salah surrounding them, and they will pass through quickly. But there is a conversation that happens after this, and it's a conversation with the people of hellfire who seek to get a way out. They're not going to stop. They're going to stick together. So they will ask Allah. They will say, رَبَّنَا أَخْرِجْنَا مِنْ هَذَا فَإِنْ أُدْنَا فَإِنَّا ظَالِمُونَ. Oh Allah, take us out from this, and we promise next time that we're not going to do any disobedience to you. Take us out from the hellfire, and next time we promise to be good. Allah said, قَالَ أَخْسَوْا فِيهَا وَلَا تُكَلِّمُونَ. Perish in this fire and don't talk. So they know that Allah is not going to have mercy on them. So what do? They turn their attention to the angel of the hellfire, and his name is Al-Malik. So they say, وَنَادَوْا يَا مَالِكْ لِيَقْضِيَ عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ قَالَ إِنَّكُمْ مَاكِثُونَ. They will say, Ya Malik, is there a way that you can get us out of the hellfire? That's what you do. When you get into jail, what do? You try to speak to the boss. If you can't, then you speak to the security. He will say, إِنَّكُمْ مَاكِثُونَ. You're there forever. Then they will realize that they're not leaving. This is their final end. So then what they will do, they will say, oh Allah, just give us 1 day holiday. 1 day, no punishment. So then they will say, قَالَ الَّذِينَ فِي النَّارِ لِخَزَنَةِ جَهَنَّمْ أُدْعُوا رَبَّكَ. Ya Malik, Allah is not going to listen to us. And He said, لَا تُكَلِّمُونَ. Don't talk to me. So we can't talk to Him. You, Ya Malik, can you ask Allah, make dua for us, ask Allah, رَبَّكُمْ يُخَفِّفْ أَنَّا يَوْمًا مِنَ الْعَذَابِ. Just 1 day take us away from this punishment. Again, He will refuse. This is the eternal abode. There is no relaxation now. So then what they will do is they will ask the people of Jannah. They will call out to the people of Jannah. Now before they call out to the people of Jannah, there will be on the Day of Judgment a people known as Ashab al-A'raf. Their scales are equal. They're not going to Jannah, they're not going to Jannah. So they're on this wall in between Jannah and Jahannam. So Allah says, وَبَيْنَهُمَا hijab. Between hell and heaven there is a hijab. وَعَلَى أَعْرَافِ رِجَالٌ يَعْرِفُونَ كُلٌّ بِسِيمَاهُمْ. You will see these men on this wall, and everyone will see them. وَنَادَوْا أَصْحَابَ. These people on this wall, أصحاب الأعراف, they will call to the people of Jannah. سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ لَمْ يَدْخُلَهَا وَهُمْ يَطْعَمُونَ. We have not entered Jannah, but we're not with these guys. Alhamdulillah. They're just, at least at this stage, happy not to be in the hellfire. But then they will look at the people of the hellfire. وَإِذَا صُرِفَتْ أَبْصَارُهُمْ تِلْقَاءَ أَصْحَابِ النَّارِ. When they will look at the people of the fire, قَالُوا رَبَّنَا لَا تَجَلْنَا مَعَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Don't make us of these people, Ya Rabb. Save us from these people. When they're just looking at them, they're saying, don't make us with these people of Zalimin. So then what will happen is these people in the hellfire, they will bypass these people on the A'raf, and they will go straight to the people of Jannah. They will call them. وَنَادَى أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ أَصْحَابُ الْجَنَّةِ. The people of hellfire will call the people of Jannah. And أَفِيدُ عَلَيْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ. Give me just 1 drop of the water that Allah has given you in your Jannah. مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ. قَالُوا. The people of Jannah will say, إِنَّ اللَّهَ حَرَّمَهُ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. You're not going to get any of this. You're in the hellfire, and your food are the nettles that you have to drink, and the boiling water as liquid. This is the hellfire, my brothers and sisters. But there's optimism for us as people of Jannah. Allah says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ سَبَقَتْ لَهُم مِّنَّ الْحُسْنَى أُولَٰئِكَ أَنْهَا مُبْعَدُونَ. They will be away from all this torment. Those people who do good deeds, they will be away from the hellfire. لَا يَسْمَعُونَ حَسِيسَهَا. They will not see the evilness and the terror that these people will go through. وَهُمْ فِيهَا مَشْتَهَتْ أَنفُسُهُمْ خَالِدُونَ. Underneath the arsh, they will be having all the pleasures that they want. لَا يَحْزَنُهُمْ فَزَعُ الْأَكْبَرُ. They will not see the sun coming down. They will not see the earth splitting. وَتَتَلَقَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ هَذَا يَوْمُكُمُ الَّذِي كُنْتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ. This is the day you have been working for. These are the good deeds that you have been doing. Now this is your reward. So some people will be looking, their faces will be bright as if they are the moon. Some people, the people of Quran, the Quran, the surah will come and it will shield them like it was a big bird. The people of Sabr will be called from Bayt al-Hamd, from inside of Jannah. These people have Sabr. This Allah has called this the Bayt al-Hamd, the house of praise. From inside Jannah will be calling them, come in. And some of them, the Prophet ﷺ said that those people who have Sabr with their anger, with their desires, they will على رؤوس خلائق يوم القيامة حتى يخير من أخور العين ما شاء. They will be from the best of creation on that day of judgment, and they can choose from any hur that they want. And Hassan al-Basri has a tahliq on this, and he said that when the person enters Jannah and he meets his hur, she will say to him, do you know what day we got married on? He said, how did I get married? Do you know what day you got married on? It was that day when you fasted for Allah in the heat, in the long days, through all that starvation and all that thirst. That is the day when you got married. This is why the ulama say that your dowry for the whole aim is your good deeds. Even if it's half a day in sadaqah, this is your dowry. This is what you're putting forward for your akhirah. The poor will be called, and they will be the first ones to enter Jannah. The Prophet ﷺ said, not those people in authority, not those people who are the biggest people in society that you think, not those people who have money. But then something amazing will happen, and I'd like to end with this if I can, is that when the people of Iman enter Jannah, they will be called. There will be a calling, and the caller will say, هَذَا يَوْمٌ مَزِيدٌ. This is the day of getting something extra. So then they will be called and they say, يَسْتَزِيرُكُمْ فَحَيَّ عَلَى زِيَارَتِ. Allah is calling you. Allah wants to meet you, so come to this place that Allah is calling you. So they will come to this valley in Jannah. And people will be giving their own mimbar, a place, a seat, a couch to sit on. Some of them will be made out of light. Some of them will be made out of gold, silver, pearls, rubies. And the distance between each mimbar will be the distance between the heaven and the earth. You'll be looking at it as if it is a star. And there's no jealousy, my brothers and sisters. You'll be reveling in the glory of Allah. Subhanallah, look how amazing this creation of Allah is. And they'll be called and say, this is your seat, come and sit down. Before you sit down, we're going to put a pillow, a sheet of misk. This is your seat, sit down. So they will sit down and they'll say, this is the place for the meeting with Allah. So Allah will call, Allah will come, and He will say, Ya Ahl Jannah, O people of Jannah, Inna lakum inda Allahi maw'adan yurid an yunjizakumuhu. Allah, the caller will call that Allah wants to reward you with something. So sit down, settle down, and Allah wants to reward you with something. So they will say, didn't He save us from the fire? Didn't He make our faces white? Didn't through His mercy make our scales bigger than we actually deserve? Then a light will come on top of their heads. And it will be the light of Al-Jabbar, Allah Jalla wa Ala. And He will say, Ya Ahl Jannah, Assalamu alaikum. Your Lord will say to you, Assalamu alaikum. And they will reply, Anta salam wa minka salam. You are salam and from you is salam. This is the greetings that we will have for Allah on that day of judgment. Allah will then laugh. Allah will laugh at us. And He says, where are those slaves who worshipped me without seeing me? هَذَا يَوْمٌ مَزِيدٌ فَاسْأَلُونِي. Those people who worshipped me, they didn't see me, they believed in me, but they didn't see me. This is the day of increase. Ask me for whatever you want, I'll give it to you. They will say, we are pleased with you, so just be pleased with us. قَدْ رَضِينَا فَرْضَ عَنَّا. Just be happy with us, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Allah will say, Ya Ahl Jannah, if I wasn't pleased with you, you wouldn't be sitting there. You wouldn't be in my Jannah. This is the day of Mazid. Don't you understand? This is the day when you're going to get something extra. So ask me. So they will say, oh Allah, we ask you for your pleasure. Let us see your noble face. So then Allah will remove the hijab between Him and the believers. And the Prophet ﷺ said that if this hijab was to fall upon their heads and it wasn't for the mercy of Allah, it would destroy them all. Due to the intense level of nur that's in this hijab, it would burn them all. And then Allah will say, there is not a single person except I'm going to meet you individually. And I'm going to remind you of what you did. Did you do this, such and such on this day? Did you do such and such on this day? But I am your Lord Ar-Rahman. And I am the one who pardons and forgives. So Allah will say on that day, my forgiveness is yours. My forgiveness is yours. So my brothers and sisters, this is the fifth pillar of Iman. If there's one thing that the people on that situation could have, is that they will come back to this dunya, not so that they can get more money, not that they can have more time to enjoy. Allah says in the Quran that if they had a chance to go back, the only thing they will say لعمل فيما تركت, if I can do good deeds that I didn't do before. And if you hold on to Islam, my brothers and sisters, it will prepare you for this day. The first word that was given to you was Iqra. And the last ayah that was given to the Prophet ﷺ was وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ. So the first thing is, learn and have Iman and educate yourself. And everything in between this moment of wahi and the last moment of wahi, the Prophet Allah said, tells the Prophet ﷺ, fear the day when you come back to Allah. Everything in between this, from the wahi that was given to the Prophet ﷺ within his sharia, will prepare you for that day. And Allah says, and He warns us, that وَيُحَذِّرُكُمُ اللَّهِ, that He is warning you from His own self. He loves you. He loves you more than your father. He has sabr with you. Every single day we are sinning, we are negligent. If He wanted to, He could take us right now without doing any oppression to us. But He has love for us. He has sabr for us. But despite that, He is warning you against His punishment. He doesn't want to punish you, but this is His punishment. So ask Allah to make us of those who have firm iman in Him, in His messengers, in His books, and the akhirah. And that He enables us to do good deeds so that we can prepare for it. And that He makes our skins and our souls haram for the hellfire. And that He blesses us with of those who are given these manabir, His mimbar, and that we can see His noble face. هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
Barakallahu feek, jazakallah khair. Inshallah, this is the last lecture for the Shaykh today, but we will meet him inshallah tomorrow if Allah wills. The next lecture after the Salah, it will be in regards to desires given by our beloved Shaykh Abu Salama, Hafidhullah, so we advise you to stay. Barakallahu feek.